Hey folks, Christmas in October. We just got our new lyson extractor from Poland, as well as our new semi-automatic uncapper with tank. So, show you guys. I'm going to start unboxing these, and I'll show you some more once I get them unboxed. One thing you gotta love is good packaging. This unit is strapped, covered it with a heavy gauge plastic bag, which is reusable, which is pretty cool. You can, after you're done with your operation, you can throw it back on top and keep dust out of your tank. But the construction on this thing, so they've got a solid wood deck with, those are steel straps with screws holding everything down, and this thing won't budge. And they left, I don't know, 6 inches at least, 6 to 8 inches on each side of everything, and the head is packaged underneath, and it's also screwed down. So anyway, we'll show you more with the other in a minute. Okay folks, we got the uncapper all unwrapped, and we'll show you a few features of it. It's got pans, they're nicely wrapped. And you've got a nice angled bed underneath. So you got these wax capping pans. You got a really nice heavy duty ball valve, 1.5 inches, with safety on it. Thing comes with casters with 2 brakes, which I love because I want to have everything in the honey house on wheels so I can move things out of the way for cleaning. The first thing I really noticed about this is the whole thing is put together with stainless steel nylon lock washers. That's a really nice touch. It means that once this thing stays adjusted, it shouldn't require further adjustment. It's not going to vibrate loose. And the second thing I noticed was the action on this is just smooth as silk. The construction, they milled the chain pass into solid blocks of aluminum is what those are. And I'm still you got a couple of grease fittings. You want to make sure you use food grade grease for that. And this is your power unit that operates the knives, which are down here. The other reason I went with this instead of a chain uncapper, because I use 8 frames in 10 frame boxes, as well as 9 frames. So I wind up with a huge variation of how far out the bees draw out my frames. And a chain uncapper does not work real well, whereas this one is pretty much universal. You can throw thick ones in and it'll slice them. You can put thin ones in, as long as they're, you know, thicker than the wood line, they'll take the cappings right off. So anyway, this is the other thing I like about this machine is it's going to be really easy to clean. What you see right here is what you get. I won't be spending, you know, an hour to clean this machine. They also did a good job of placement of the unit, so if you have any drippings, they don't go on the floor, they go into the tank. And this thing automatically deposits the frames onto the rails. And so yeah, I'll show you more videos of this thing in operation once I get it all fully tuned and set up. But here she is. Also, the power plant on this one, I didn't go for the fully automated. I kind of like manual because I can stop if I've got a problem and it won't eat a frame. This one uses a Wagner power steam unit instead of having a recirculation unit. I didn't know how I like that, and then I kind of thought about it. It's like, well, you know, if the steam unit ever goes out, I can go run over to Lowe's and pick up another one of these Wagner steam units. So that's kind of nice, and they're not expensive. The only downside is it only has an hour's worth of steam. So you got to reload it after an hour. It says 70 minutes, but basically you can figure you've got about an hour. But that's okay. After an hour, I'll probably be ready for a break anyway. So anyway, up next is the unboxing of the Behemoth extractor. All right, here we are with the lyson 56 frame extractor with a fully programmable drive unit. We have a nice motor sitting underneath with an aluminum gearbox. And seriously heavy plexiglass. That's probably 5/16 thick lid. And inside you see nothing but stainless. And if you see that riser pipe, that's how much reserve honey this thing will hold, which is, to my estimate, it'll hold probably 25 or 30 gallons before you get into the red area where it would overrun. Other nice feature is it comes with not one but two honey gates, and you can feel there's a nice angle coming right in on this bottom pan. It's heavily angled, so you're not going to have a lot of honey wasted. They're going to flow. I wanted to have two honey gates, and here's the other one. So two nice big honey gates should be able to process a lot of honey. The only thing I have to decide now is whether to put this thing on mover dollies or to leave her as is and bolt her to the floor. Also, while I'm here, let me show you, I'll demonstrate the this uncapper real quick. Take our frames. They load in pretty straightforward. You just put them in at the top, and there's a guide on the sides. We'll put two frames in, and they just drop in like so. And you just crank this thing down counterclockwise. It spreads the knives. So there's some guides that make it follow the wood, and finishes. And there's number two, and then it just spits them out and slides them on the rail. Now I'm after flow, so I won't be able to demonstrate this thing in action until next year when I have honey. But anyway, there it is, dry. She purrs like a kitten, and like I said, I like that it's manual on the feed. The knives, of course, are heated and oscillating. So anyway, thanks for watching. This concludes our little Christmas in October video. Now we just have to... Okay folks, we're back. I thought I'd show you a couple of nice little features on this lyson 56 frame extractor. I apologize for the shaky video. I'm not using a tripod today. Let's go first is we'll lift up this massively thick piece of plexiglass. And the really cool thing on this thing, it'll save a ton of time, is these frames literally just drop in. There is plenty of wiggle room. There's no squeezing. My other extractor, I got to kind of squeeze and get them in right and hooked in. These simply just drop in the frame, and which is going to save an enormous amount of time. Also, you know, it doesn't matter if you're slinging deeps, mediums, or shallows. There's no adjustment needed. You just drop them in. So that's the first huge time saver. Let me shut this lid. Next, we'll go over here. And so this is a fully automated extractor. You can program. Let me get down here where you can see. Focus, focus. If I get my camera to focus, we'll be in good shape. Well, that's probably about as good as I want. So you see the parameters. There's starting out at 1 second to 90 seconds. It's going to run at 20%. And at the bottom you see it's going to be rotating to the right. Now I've programmed it to go at 30%, the next section to the left. And then we move up at, sorry about that. Timed out, went to screensaver. So at 180 seconds, it's going to go at 40% and got it spinning to the right. And the same for 270. We jump up to 70% and then a full 100% at 360 seconds. And then at 450, I've got it at 100%, but I've got it spinning the opposite direction. So the total is 540 seconds. You can program each one of these cycles individually, direction, time, duration, whatever you want, which is pretty cool. And it's also showing that it's 27 degrees Celsius in here, which is kind of neat that it actually tells you what the temperature is, although it's in Celsius. So I did have this thing comes programmed, and it does come programmed in Polish. So you have to get through the Polish language before you can change it to American. It's kind of irritating that they don't do that at the factory, but I understand. These things come pre-boxed all the way from Europe, and these crates were just amazingly easy, but also well engineered. So anyway, we're going to start it up just so you guys can see it in action. The other cool thing is, so you got an emergency stop over here on the right. But over here, you've got a magnetic lock. So you can't open the lid when this thing's in operation. And if you guys can hear it, which you shouldn't be able to, it's just whisper quiet. This is running at 20%. And the menu shows which section it's on. And you've also got a timer showing you how long that duration is. So it's got 40 seconds and then it's going to kick up a notch. Yeah. 20 more seconds. I won't go through this whole thing, I'll just let it go through 2 cycles. Maybe I'll show you what it's running at 100%. And here's switching directions. And that speed, 30%, should really start kicking out some honey. You can scroll through menus. And you can also go to manual mode, which is what we're going to do right now. And I want to show you what this thing will do at 100%. It sounds like a freaking airplane getting ready to take off. Wow. That is insanely fast, guys. It is zipping along just, yeah. See, there's the gearbox and little motor. All in all, the whole thing's very, very quiet. But, okay, well that concludes our Christmas in October. We're going to be ready for extraction next year, I'll tell you what. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer it for you. Thanks, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.